Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in to the mini messages on Sundays. Today we're going to do something just a little bit different. We're definitely going to have a message component, but a lot of what we're going to do today is it's a little bit of personal or spiritual inventory. So right now what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, go and grab your journal, go and grab your diary, or go and grab just a piece of paper and a pencil so that we can kind of write down some answers to some questions that I'm going to be asking you guys. All right, guys, the first question is, how is your relationship with Jesus? Now, before you answer this question, I don't want you guys to give the answers that we commonly say is it's going good, it's going all right, or it's going bad. But what I want you guys to do is really think about and meditate on how your relationship with Jesus is going right now. So pause the video and answer the question, how is your relationship with Jesus? All right, guys, second question. How are you seeking Jesus? How is it that you are seeking Jesus? And let's do some lists, all right? So pause the video right now and answer the question with a list. How are you seeking Jesus? All right, here we go. Third question. Are you casting your cares onto Jesus? During this time, we have so many emotions that are going through us, so many questions that we may be having. And I want you guys to list out what those questions and what those emotions are, and then answer the question, are you casting your cares onto Jesus? All right, guys, fourth question. How have you seen God work in these past couple of weeks? Sometimes we can kind of get into the motions of things and just say like, hey, I don't know if I see God these past couple of weeks. Or I'm just doing things or not doing things. But let's take a second to just pause to think through how it is that we've seen God work these past couple of weeks. All right, guys. So the last thing before we get into like the mini message part of this, I want you guys to again pause the video and list 3 things that you are grateful for and why. All right, guys. So I'm so glad that you guys took the time to actually go through and answer those questions. If you notice, it's probably taken a little bit longer to answer those questions than we originally thought. But that's because we're kind of sitting down, calming ourselves, and decided to dig deeper and meditate on what it is happening in our lives, but also in our spiritual lives. And that takes a little bit of time sometimes. But also, I'm happy that you guys have decided to write these things down because you can go back to them. And also, these are some questions that you can ask yourself every week to see how it is that you're doing spiritually. So the last thing I want us to think about is, are you using your time wisely? What are you choosing to do throughout this time? I know for me personally, it's very easy for me just to hop on Netflix, hop on Disney Plus, hop on Hulu or any other streaming platforms and just kind of let the day go by. I was talking to my wife the other day and I was like, man, babe, like it seems like the days are actually going by faster than when they were when I feel like I was more busy. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I'm like, why is that? And partially, I think it may be because I may not be using my time in the most wise way, right? It's all right to watch movies and to binge on stuff because it's something that we all enjoy. But is that the wisest way for us to use our time? The reason I have this plant on the table is I think this is a good depiction of what our relationship with God or our spiritual life can kind of look like. The Bible in Galatians, I'm going to read in a couple minutes, talks about us reaping what we're sowing or harvesting what it is that we've planted. So we have many seeds that we could be planting throughout this time. Reading our Bible, praying to God, worshiping with Him, and just being honest with Him about where we are and building up our spiritual muscles. So, are we using our time wisely to become a luscious plant or even a strong tree in our spiritual walk? Or are we just using this time just to basically hop on Netflix and Hulu and neglect what our spiritual life needs, which is nourishment. So Galatians 6:7-9 says this: You will always harvest what you plant. Those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. So let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. I think Paul was encouraging the Galatians throughout this time to continue to grow in community, to continue to plant good seeds. And the thing I want you guys to do is ask yourself, what good seeds are you planting spiritually in your life? How are you using your time wisely in your life? How are you preparing your heart and your spiritual muscles to grow throughout this time in which we have so much time on our hands? I'm really encouraged that we don't have to do this alone. But I thank God that He is constantly with us. The Holy Spirit is within us, teaching us as we open up our Bibles and seek to know Him. And not only is He teaching with us and walking with us, God desires for us to continue to grow in our relationship with Him. Guys, we love you. We want you to grow spiritually strong. And we want you guys to know that you are significant, that you matter, and that this time can be a great time where you grow beyond what you thought that you could possibly grow in your relationship with Jesus.